Alright, so welcome back to Gospel Jazz Chords Lesson 2. And we're going to actually be studying the dominant 7th chords in this lesson. So in jazz theory, when you're playing a song, usually off a chord chart or whatever you're playing off of, you have a basic couple of rules if the chord is a major chord. So major chords can actually be replaced with dominant 7th chords on many fourth movements. You know, for example, the 1 to 4, the 5 to 1, 2 to 6, 2 to 5, 6 to 2, 3 to 6. You know, basically pretty much as long as it sounds good. The second rule we use a lot is major chords can be replaced with dominant 7th chords in places where you want to have kind of a jazzy, bluesy type sound. Of course, once again, as long as it sounds good in the right spot. So, of course, in jazz, as we talked about before, we use our left hand to play the chords. So I'm going to go ahead and run through all the 7s and all their inversions real quick using the circle, not the circle of fourths, but it's actually a grouping technique that we use that kind of helps you remember them because they're kind of the similar shapes. Alright, so we're going to have C7, C, E, G, B flat. So basically just add your flatted 7th to the major chord to make a dominant 7th. Okay, so there's C7, F7. Use whatever fingering is comfortable for you. G7, E flat 7, A flat 7, B flat 7, D7, E7, A7, D flat 7, G flat 7, and B7. And you can hear how they all have the same sound. So I would take a minute and just maybe pause the video if you don't know these chords yet. Go through each one of the different inversions, and that's really going to help you out with getting ready. Actually, a couple things. You're going to learn to recognize the 7th chords by ear because you're going to hear them so much. If you already know how to play them in your right hand, definitely go through, play them in your left hand. Okay? And the really important thing to do, because what this is going to do is it's going to teach your left hand how to start playing chords, which in the future is going to free you up to do more solo and stuff in the right hand. Or if you're an organ player, it's going to teach you pretty much where you can just double up on the chords if you need to. Okay? Alright, so those are all the inversions for the dominant 7ths. Let's go over some exercise songs for these. So first one we've got is just a simple C7, C7, F7, F7, C7, C7, G7, G7, and then back to C7. So we're kind of going to add some rhythm to it. You can play it with the root note in the right hand or without the root note. There's different ways to play it. So let's try it again. The next song does what we call a single walk-up, where you go back a half step and then come back up. And that's real common in jazz music, walk-ups and walk-downs using 7th chords. So and the next one's going to be a double walk-up, so we're going to walk up 2 half steps. You can use whatever rhythm you want. I'm used to using 9s. I apologize. Alright, so we'll get into those not too much longer. Okay, you also use walk downs a lot. Where you're basically just walking down a half step. Alright, so that's walk ups and walk downs. Alright, and then let's say we're going to use this chord in a jazzy type song, like Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus, a real church song. What we do is we call it vamping a lot, where you're on the same chord for a long time. And like I said, in those exercise songs, you could use whatever rhythm you wanted. You could put some drums with it. You could really just do whatever you wanted to do. But on Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus, it's kind of the same concept. You're on the C7 for a while, and I like to kind of hit the chord with the rhythm of the words. So you could do something like Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus, because you're on it for 16 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go to F. Okay. So basically 4 measures of 4. So can't nobody do me like Jesus. F7. Nobody do me like the Lord. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. He's my friend. Alright, so you can kind of see how we use these little things with the Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus, and how you can really use these dominant 7th chords where even though you're not doing a whole lot, you're still it still sounds good. Alright, here's another version you could use with kind of some walk ups and walk downs thrown in. So can't nobody do me like Jesus. Do me like the Lord. Alright, so kind of the same thing we're doing there, but now this is just something, a little couple things I made up. You could take this and do it yourself, you know. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Do me like the Lord. Nobody do me like Jesus. You could kind of take it and make up your own little things and do different things with it. But really just the whole concept is just vamping and using jazz chords to play just regular church songs that we all know. Another one that we use a lot is the Blood by Andre Crouch. The blood that Jesus shed for me. Now this song's going to use some major sevenths, some sevenths. We already know our major sevenths. Now we know our sevenths pretty well. And otherwise, just going to use minor chords. And there's a suspended 4 thrown in there, which is a B sus4, which is a B, E, F sharp. That's a B sus4 right there. All right, so. Alright, so we did a couple things there. We walked down to that E7, G7, G flat 7, F7, E7. Just a little trick you can do on your 6th chord to get to it. Another time we walked down to it using F7 to E7. There's a couple little tricks you could do there. And we did throw in a couple minor 7s. I tried to get them all out, but so anyways, E minor 7, D, E, G, B, basically a G major chord over E, D minor 7, C, D, F, A, with D in the bass, which is an F major chord over D basically. Alright, so that's pretty much how those work. So just remember once again, in this song, usually for the most part it's using 7th chords only when you're going to a 4th movement. So example with the G7 to C. I did that little thing there too. That's a G7 to G flat 7, and then back to G7. It does that right there. Alright, so once again, 4th movement, G7 to C, D7 to G, E7 to A minor, B7 to E minor. And then those are just 1 to 4, 5 to 1, 6 to minor 2, and then the 3 to the minor 6. So, all right, let's go to. Well, before we do that, let's once again, if you want to take it to the next level, we recommend learning these songs in all 12 keys, or taking the exercise songs and learning those in all 12 keys. Either way, it's going to be really beneficial for you to learn all the 7ths in every single key. Really, how they recommend doing that. Although, for the most part, just practicing the inversions is going to be one of the most important things to do. So if you can practice the inversions in all 12 keys, you're well on your way to doing and knowing 7ths backwards and forwards, especially if you're doing it in your left hand as well as your right hand. What's funny about it is, as I said before, when you do it in your left hand, your right hand kind of automatically learns it too. So it's kind of cool how that works. At least that's how it works for me. All right, so but I'm right-handed, so left-handers you might have the opposite problem. All right, so jazz chord number 4, augmented 7th chords. So these kind of work in the same kind of way that a dominant 7th does. In fact, these are kind of a form of dominant 7th. You're just sharpening the 5th. But basically, the way it works, dominant 7ths can be replaced with augmented 7ths on many 4th movements. Usually the 1 to the 4. Usually they're followed by a major 7th. Or by a minor 7th. Okay, but 1 to the 4, 5 to the 1, 2 to the 5, 6 to the 2. Anytime where you're doing a 4th movement, 3 to the 6. If you see a 4th movement, more than likely, you can substitute an augmented 7th there for the regular dominant 7th. Okay, it'll kind of give it a jazzier sound. So once again, oftentimes we use it in our left hand. So I would recommend learning this chord in your left hand as well as your right hand. But we'll run through them really quickly. So C7 plus 5, you basically take a C7 chord. Or I'm sorry, you can take an augmented, several ways you can make it. Take an augmented chord and add the 7th at the bottom. So basically it's like an augmented chord plus a dominant 7th. You can also take a major chord, sharp your 5th, and then add the flatted 7th. Or you can take a C7 chord and sharp the 5th. Any one of those ways will work. It's all the same. You're getting to the same place. So C7 plus 5. Okay. Use the fingering that's most comfortable for you. That's F7 plus 5, G7 plus 5. Okay, we're going to jump to E flat 7 plus 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, one more time. A flat 7 plus 5. B flat 7 plus 5. D7 plus 5. E7 plus 5. A7 plus 5. Alright, D flat 7 plus 5. G flat 7 plus 5. And then B7 plus 5. Alright, so that's all the augmented sevenths. And once again, take those, pause the video, go through them a little slower, learn them in all 12 keys. And let's go ahead and do the exercise songs for the augmented sevenths. So these are all in the key of C, so C major 7. You can hear how it has just a really jazzy sound. Augmented 7th exercise song 2. You hear how it's just a nice sound going to the F major 7. Next one is on the E7 plus 5. Three to the 4. And the same ending as the other ones. Alright, last one here. Go to the 6. Alright, and then just a simple song here, if you can use anything, Lord. Alrighty, Amazing Grace is the next one. Kind of giving a little bit jazzy sound here. A lot of sevenths and the sharp fives. And if you want to really take to the next level, I'd recommend going through and learning those songs or the exercise songs in all 12 keys. But once again, definitely at a minimum learn and practice all of these in all of the inversions, and that's going to really be helpful for you. Alright, it's been a pleasure helping you with this lesson. Hope these chords are a blessing to you, give a jazzy sound to your playing, and there's a lot you can do with them. When we go over the voicings, we're going to show you even more cool stuff that we can do with them as well. Alright, God bless. We'll see you back here for your next lesson.